Hey, what's up everyone? Fluffy Armchair Admiral here with a brand new video. Something that I've never done before on this channel, something that I've never featured on my channel. Well, a brand new game, a game that really caught my eye, and I decided, well, you know what? It might be worth checking out because it's something that I've never done before on this channel. It's something that I rarely do, but I think it will definitely fit the channel main theme, which is basically some sort of simulation games, because it is in fact simulation game, and it is type of simulation game that I pretty much very rarely play because I've never been good at those, and I never really felt excited about it. However, this game really changed a lot. So in today's video, I will just showcase you and tell you the story of my first flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, I decided to jump on that bandwagon and have a go with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is really fantastic game, I have to say. I'm usually not playing this type of games though. I was never excited to play flight sims, mostly because they relate only around the idea of flying around and doing nothing else. Not to mention that some of them were having like massive maps, required tons of space. Not to mention about like equipment that you had to have in order to actually benefit from the full simulation experience in those games, like all those flight sim sets where you get not only yoke and like all that equipment that I don't even know how to name. All those simulation setups, like there's just too much. Not to mention about track IR or any other head tracking device that will eventually help you get full experience of those games. It's really hard to do that in flight sims. You have to observe many different things in order to actually fly and not crash. And that was maybe the idea that scared me a lot from those games. I really enjoyed like a combat flight sims, like Il-2 Sturmovik, which is kind of old game right now. Obviously, sometimes I used to play War Thunder, but again, in rather realistic setting, which still allows you to fully control your plane using mouse and keyboard, instead of like full simulation mode where you could like dive in fully in full gear and benefit from all that expensive stuff you had for your flight sim. So when I heard about Microsoft 2020, I decided, well, you know what, it's a pretty cool idea. They took like a satellite footage. They pretty much rendered entire globe, and that was amazing. I said, wow, Microsoft just went way over the board, and they did something nobody ever did before. They pretty much created the unlimited experience for any flight sim fan. And so I said, you know what, it is so cool idea that it's worth my attention. And indeed, the game is absolutely amazing. I loved it since the first minute when I started it. Anyway, obviously there are some issues, when you start the game and when you buy it for the first time, it takes awful lot of time to download all the data that the game requires, because at the very beginning when you start it, you have to download nearly 100 gigabytes of space in order to just install the game. And there is more. Yes, there is much more. If you want to benefit from all that cool footage and high quality landscapes, you do have to spare a little bit more of space on your hard drive in order for the game to actually download the data with entire footage for the area you are planning to fly. The more often you fly, the more of that data you would have to store on your hard drive in order to have that full experience. Otherwise, the game will just use generic data. It will generate some buildings, something in low quality. So you will still get experience of that. From very high altitude, you will pretty much not see any difference between aerial footage and actual poor textures that you get in the game. But the lower altitude you fly, the more you will notice that the game didn't download it enough data. So if you have fast internet and if you have a lot of space on your hard drive, this game will look absolutely amazing. If not, it will still look good, but definitely you will see some imperfections. Anyway, that's not the main topic of today's video. Today I will tell you a story of my first flight. Yes, I decided to take some fly around of the place that I live in, and that's going to be a story of this first flight. So sit down, sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and I will tell you a short story. I will show you some of the footage of my first flight. In fact, I will most likely not cut it as much as I can. So at some point I will probably stop talking. I will let you see the footage on its own, and then we might say a few other words throughout the flight. So, right after starting the game, I decided, you know what, I providing that I got some experience from previous titles, as I mentioned before, I said, you know what, I won't be wasting my time for any tutorials. I think I can handle it. Yeah, I felt like a boss. I decided, you know what, I can do it. Yeah. So I started the game. I decided, okay, let's take a flight from Liverpool to Manchester Airport. And as you can already hear in the background, I started my plane on the runway. As it happens, it was already 9 p.m. In the evening on 22nd of August 2020. So I prepared my lovely aircraft and decided, okay, the game uses like real-time time, date, and weather effects if you load it like that. So I didn't change much in the game settings, so I had to load it in the night. And nighttime flights are very specific. While you might not see much of the details on the ground, which might even be a better idea because I didn't put too much attention to graphics settings, I decided, okay, let's do it. I can do it. I will fly, and yeah. As you probably can see, it happened to be harder than I expected. I did some more attempts. Yes, I did few more attempts, and eventually I, well, somewhat succeeded, I guess. So as you can see, I managed to successfully start. I went into the air, and well, the part of the footage that you are looking at is a mid-flight footage. I've been already flying for a while. I've been really happy to have some, well, maybe not a perfect shots, but some footage of the area, somewhere between Liverpool and Manchester Airport. And everything seemed to be fine until this moment, yeah. Suddenly, out of the blue, I don't know why, but I just lost control over the aircraft, and I'm not sure where I am exactly, but well, as you can see, I crashed. So I said, no, that it can't be like that, and I decided to take the bright path of enlightenment. Yes, I decided to eventually jump deep into tutorial sections. I learned how to take off in the first place, as you can see on your screens right about now. So let's have a look how it went.
yoke. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. And we're airborne. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep
Success.
the runway
I thought, okay, I got this. After a few tries, well, when it comes to start, maybe not a few tries. I did the tutorial only once. Then I jumped into landing phase. So landing tutorial is slightly different. You just have to land on the runway. You are perfectly lined up. And as you can see in the final phase, I managed to successfully land at Cessna. I don't know what model that is. Don't even ask me. Don't bother. I have no idea what kind of plane. Well, I know it's Cessna. That's all I need to know. Yeah. Anyway, I managed to successfully land. So then I felt, you know what? I think I'm ready. Yeah. After a few more training, I took few more trainings, and I said, you know what? I'm ready. I feel I'm ready. And so I started my second attempt to fly over Liverpool and Manchester route, yeah, over the area, perhaps maybe fly over the town that I actually live in, because I don't live both in Liverpool or Manchester. I live somewhere in between, in one of the towns. So I won't be telling exactly where I live, because that's my privacy. Anyway, you will be able to see the area, at least how it looks during the night time in the game. So I started again. I can't remember the name of this aircraft, but it well, I thought like this nice little cute aircraft will be perfect to fly around. It's worth noting that yeah, I still struggle to control certain elements, like for example camera. Because it's very difficult without any sort of track IR and with the controls that I got available on my joystick. So it's very sensitive, and even a light bump on those mini joysticks that I use to control the camera tends to move them quite fast around. So my apologies for some unexpected camera movements from time to time. I will definitely adjust it in the future. But for now, well, we will have to deal with it. So as you can see, I managed to successfully start. And it's fun. It was already fun. I was starting to adjust trim in order to keep my plane in pretty much straight line. Something that I learned during tutorial. Because until now, I didn't knew that I can just trim my aircraft so it will pretty much fly straight without me even touching the yoke, which is very convenient. It actually adds a lot to the convenience. But well, if you just start the game, you want to fly around your home area or hometown or anywhere, you just don't think that there are many things that you can learn from the tutorial. So that was my hard lesson of like, go through the tutorial before you start flying aircraft. Okay, yeah, okay. So I managed to start. I started to pretty much more or less navigate in the direction of Manchester Airport, because I know that I should see my hometown from the air. And providing how well the game looks, I said it shouldn't be too difficult to spot where I live. Oh well, how wrong I was. On top of that, I pretty much lost my navigation settings, because this plane doesn't have anything like that. As you can see from the front panel, I just got few clocks that informs me about status of the aircraft, like height, aerial speed, and so on and so on, which is the most basic data, and obviously where I'm going. But even when I switch to external view, which in some or on some aircrafts will display me some sort of GPS data, on this one, well, it just doesn't do that automatically. Anyway, at this point I've been too busy adjusting the trim again, because like I still need to practice a little bit. So eventually I got it. Then well, I had to find my way back to the right course, because in the meantime, when I've been fighting with the trim, my plane decided to fly more to the north, which is not somewhere where I want to be. You will probably quickly see that on the footage. Entire flight took me around 35 minutes anyway. So as you can see, my plane is currently turning to the north, and it is turning automatically just because of the propeller. Propeller is pulling the plane to the left. So without me countering with my yoke or with the pedals, which I don't actually have, so I need to keep my hand on the yoke at all times, my plane eventually started to turn left or to the north. And you will probably quickly see that I flew quite a while in that direction before I eventually adjusted my flight path, and then I had to find my way towards Manchester Airport. Obviously, it will take a while. So, when I finally regained control over my aircraft, or when I finally established how to trim my aircraft so it flies more or less stably, I decided to check my controls and find where I can open some sort of like a sat nav. So you probably seen already that that my like a personal light has flickered, and I kept going through various controls. Eventually I pressed escape, which brought up the menu, and I kept trying to find some sort of a sat nav. So I opened a nav log, which you can again see on your screens. I will soon close it on that footage. Yeah, there we go. And then I kept trying through various different keyboard controls. That's where my light flickers, so I established the button to actually turn it on and off, which is nice. And there we go. I finally brought up a VFR satnav. So I decided I'm gonna leave it on my screen. The reason why I left it is, well, perhaps some might say, but it's not realistic. Well, sorry to disappoint you guys, but I'm so terrible at navigating in the air for the first time, especially when I'm flying for the first time in some sort of successful manner, that I won't be taking a risk of trying to do that without a sat-nav. So I eventually have it. Yeah, I will leave it on until the end of that flight. And since now I actually started to pretty much know more or less where I am, so I started to circle around this area to eventually find my hometown. And from now on until the end of the video, I will leave you just with the clean in-game footage. There's not much to say about what is happening on the screen. You can see where I am, more or less, if you know area between Manchester and Liverpool. The river that you can see on the map is called Mersey River, so you can find on your own where I was. The map is quite accurate. And then I eventually managed to do a circle around my town of current, well, town where I currently live, and I headed back to Manchester Airport. So that's the flight plan from now on, and I will leave you with the beautiful footage of Cheshire during the night. Okay, so right now we are flying directly over Warrington, which is town of my current residence. As you can see down below you, we can spot various elements, various places around this town. I will try to point them out for you on the video. So, below us you can see a local rugby team stadium. We've just flown over Warrington Central Station. That big parking lot right below us, and that's football field, is actual football field of Warrington Wolves. It is very popular place around Friday nights when the rugby team is actually playing. I've never been to any of those rugby matches. I might eventually go around this area once and perhaps get myself a ticket. At least when the whole isolation thing regarding COVID-19 is over, I think I might give it a shot. On the left side of the screen you can see two bridges going over railway tracks. And then that big roundabout, yes, you can see that big roundabout right underneath us. That's pretty much the area where I live. I live very close to this roundabout. That big parking lot right next to the roundabout is a local Lidl store. In fact, in the game it doesn't look like a Lidl store. It's definitely much taller in the game, and it has much more floors. It's definitely not as tall as it should be, but yes, it is a local Lidl where I do my daily shopping. So now I'm finishing this first circle. Let me just, I've been messing up with the camera. I temporarily oversteered the aircraft, which was indicated by the alarm. And at this point I decided, you know what, it's time to head towards Manchester Airport. So everything you will see on this footage from now on is me trying to get to Manchester Airport and actually land. And just to be clear, don't bother trying to find the moment where I've been contacting with ATC to actually request landing permission and stuff. That's not going to happen. Anyway, just sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of this journey, and I'll be back with you when we will land. Captain Latter out. And we made it. We successfully landed. Well, as you probably noticed, I clipped through some other player that was about to prepare for a start. Well, it wasn't the perfect landing. It could have been better, more with the procedures. But as for a first time, providing that I'm flying during the night in quite terrible condition for a brand new pilot, I think I did a good job. You might say, well, it wasn't the perfect flight, and yes, it wasn't. It was absolutely terrific. But, well, I did what I could, yeah? And that was my first adventure, first actual individual adventure with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Are there going to be any more videos? Well, it's up to you, dear viewers. If you enjoyed this video, if that's the request from the community, I can definitely record some more footage, take some more flights in various areas in the world. The game gives me quite limitless possibilities to fly around, and I will be definitely flying around individually. I'm not sure about recording the videos. It's up to you guys. If you want to see more, yes, I will try to show you more. When the videos will be coming out? Well, when they are done. I don't have set schedule for Microsoft Flight Sim videos, so if you look for some sort of regular content, well, I'm sorry, I can't provide that. I do have normal job, and I already have 3 various different series that people are still watching. So stopping them now just because there is Microsoft Flight Sim is not an option. But I will definitely make some more videos, more or less depending on my private time. I will happily make some more. Anyway, if you would like to follow my content, or if you are interested in something more, probably you've spotted few of those videos popping up on top right corner of your screen throughout the video. If not, I strongly encourage you to jump in on my channel, have a look through other series that I have. They definitely might catch your eye if you are much into simulation games, strategy games, or this type of stuff. On top of that, there is also a Discord server where you can chat directly with me. You can also have your own input into my channel. Link is in description down below the video. There are many things you can do there. And finally, well, thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to get informed about my new content, hit that notification bell button and don't forget to share your comments down below. Have a great day and see you all later. Later. Out.